George Valecchi here with Patriots beat reporter Zach Cox after the Patriots season-opening loss 25-20 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Zach, Patriots come up short, 30 seconds, 20 yards, 1 down, 5 points. But there's a lot to take away from this. First, let's start with the offense. Actual optimism to build up there. Mac Jones throwing the ball 50-plus times, 3 touchdowns, 1 bad interception, but the offense making those steps with undermanned personnel and playing really well against the Eagles' defense.
Yeah, you look at the stat sheet, this was one of Mac Jones' best statistical performances of his career. This was the first time in the NFL that he has thrown for 3 touchdowns and 300 yards in the same game. So certainly some positive progress there. I know that he probably won't tell you that himself. We listened to him in the post-game press conferences a little while ago. He basically said, "This loss is all on me. It's all my fault." I think he was being a little bit too hard on himself there. You saw a lot of positive progress, again, from Bill O'Brien's new Patriots offense. I think you saw some new scheme innovations that you didn't see last year. I think O'Brien was able to scheme around some of the personnel losses that the Patriots had in this game much better than a Matt Patricia would have been last year. Again, they only scored 20 points. That isn't enough. They still haven't proven they can win a shootout against one of these high-end NFL teams. But after a really rocky start, I thought you saw a lot of good things from the Patriots in the final 2.5 quarters, I'd say.
Yeah, minus 2 starting guards with 2 rookies in their place. No Devontae Parker, 2 rookie receivers playing a lot. The offense took strides, and this was a unit we saw last year can never get it right. Midway through their first game, they got it right. But mentioning those rookies, 10 dressed, 11 dressed?
11 dressed for this game.
Played.
All 11 of the rookies on the roster dressed for this game. Yes.
And 10 played. Keyshawn Boutte, Demario Douglas with big roles, Keon White, Christian Gonzalez. What stood out to you from the rookie debuts we saw from the Patriots today?
I was most impressed with the rookies on defense. Christian Gonzalez, I thought he had a really strong game in his NFL debut. That's a tough matchup for him. He was going up against A.J. Brown for a lot of this game, going up against a very talented Eagles offense, and I'm pretty sure he played wire to wire. I didn't see him leave the field at all. Obviously, Patriots a little shorthanded there with no Jack Jones. Very impressed with what I saw from him. He had a sack. He had a 4th down pass breakup late in the game, was active in the run game as well. So definitely a strong start for him. Also, Keon White, the 2nd-round draft pick, didn't really show up on the stat sheet as much, but you saw him in the backfield a lot, and he was working against some talented players on the Philadelphia side too. That's Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson. Those are 2 of the better tackles in the NFL. And Marte Mapu got in there a little bit as well. I believe he only played about 10 snaps, but Matthew Judon said after the game that it's almost unbelievable the kind of versatility that he's able to have as a rookie defender. So all 3 of them certainly going to be players to watch moving forward, and I was definitely impressed with what I saw from all of them today.
Yeah, and that one deep pass to A.J. Brown is Christian Gonzalez and Marte Mapu in the coverage.
Signs of the future there.
Yeah, and blanketing Jalen Hurts couldn't fit it in. Let's talk offense real quick for the rookies, though. Demario Douglas, to me, a chain mover. 4 catches, 40 yards. He showed up in big times, and he was on the field in key moments for the game. Keyshawn Boutte, he needs to learn how to get 2 feet in bounds, but same thing, getting looks and big moments. Mac showing trust. Bill O'Brien showing trust in his play calling.
Yeah, probably the usage with both of those was the most interesting thing for me, because the Patriots, who, as you mentioned, didn't have Devontae Parker in this game, sometimes when you're down a starter at one spot, you just say, we're not going to use as much depth at that position, especially a team like the Patriots, who does have 2 kind of really receiving-focused tight ends. But they use the full length of this of wide receiver depth chart. You saw Demario Douglas playing a lot in this game. You saw Keyshawn Boutte playing a lot in this game. You saw both of them playing over Juju Smith-Schuster at some key junctures in this game. I mean, the fact that Mac Jones' final pass here, the 4th and 11 in the final minutes, was to Keyshawn Boutte, the 4th player on that wide receiver depth chart, just says, I guess it speaks to the trust that the Patriots already have in those players. Certainly the results weren't all perfect. As you mentioned, Boutte was not able to get his feet down on that play. I believe he finished with no catches on 4 targets. But
2 separate occasions didn't get his feet in
on
bounds,
2
too.
separate occasions, and we saw a little bit more from Demario Douglas. But certainly large roles, larger than I was expecting for those players. And then you had the 2 rookie offensive linemen both going wire to wire at guard against one of probably the best defensive line in the NFL. Certainly wasn't perfect for either of those guys. I think Bill O'Brien had to scheme around some of that with screens and whatnot. But I mean, the fact that they were out there is I guess, a positive step forward for both of them too.
Shout out City So. We saw him practice all summer exclusively at right tackle. Hey, first NFL start, big guy. You're going back to right guard, where he played in college, but again, tough transition against a really good pass rush. So let's talk about the offense. There's optimism we're feeling. Defensively, Jalen Hurts, top 5, top 3 quarterback, mobile, elite, accurate, big arm, 2 great receivers. The defense finally played well against an elite arm, an elite offense, and a mobile quarterback.
They did. And look, it wasn't perfect, especially early in the game. They had a couple of costly penalties that contributed to some early Eagles points. But for the longest time, really for the last 2 or 3 years, it seems like this is a Patriots defense that when they're playing against an opponent that's either less talented than them or has a backup quarterback or is missing their top 2 running backs or some situation like that, yeah, then they dominate. Then they look like one of the best units in the NFL. But when you see them play a full-strength, high-caliber offense, then they struggle a little bit. They saw a full-strength, high-caliber offense in this game, and they were great. I mean, they held the Eagles to 1 touchdown, a couple of field goals. Jalen Hurts finished with 170 passing yards, thereabouts, only rushed for about 35 yards. This is the Patriots team that also has traditionally struggled against mobile quarterbacks. I just think the plan that they had in place from Steve Belichick and Gerard Mayo was really sound and really took away a lot of what Philadelphia wanted to do offensively. And you can just already see the increased level of speed and athleticism and playmaking ability that they said they wanted to add this offseason. Seeing some of the plays from players like Jabril Peppers and some of these speedy, versatile, multi-positional type defenders. This was, I don't want to call it a statement game. I think that's a little bit too strong. The Patriots did end up losing this game, but it certainly showed that this is a defense that can even shut down some of the better groups in the NFL.
Yeah, we said before the season, our lead up to this game, we're going to pick Defensive Player of the Year. I said Kyle Duggar, give me All-Pro. Jabril Peppers, give me Pro Bowl for him.
Also,
I think he's ready for that.
I said Matthew Judon for that, and he was one of the best players on the field tonight. He was. There were a lot of really strong performances in that front seven. Judon, Juwan Bentley. It was a strong first impression from this new Patriots defense for sure.
And reminder, the Patriots, as you mentioned, they lost 25-20 today, but me and Zach, we're taking all the moral victories. And this is something I want to point out. We're in the post-game press conference, whether up at the podium or whether in the locker room. Last year, there was a 500-pound gorilla in the room, and it was Matt Patricia can't call plays worth a damn. He's not doing the right job. Joe Judge stinks. This offense is terrible. No matter what the defense does, no matter who the offense plays, nothing shows up. This time around, there's a feeling of hope. There's optimism. They're taking the steps towards. They saw a glimmer of it. Did you feel the same way when you're in there of like, there's a cloud is away from the podium, it's away from this team, and it's finally they can concentrate on football and start building towards a 17-week season?
There's certainly optimism, especially on the offensive side. There's a feeling that just wasn't really there last year. I know a lot of players inside that locker room just didn't have a ton of faith in what the team was doing offensively last year. That's completely different this year, especially just even from talking to these players for the last, 3-4 months. There's a different feeling about this offense. There's a lot more trust. There's a lot more confidence. You would imagine once they get some of those starters back that they didn't have today, in Owenu, Strange, Parker, and as these players, this group as a whole just continues to build a little bit more confidence in Bill O'Brien's system, you can see higher heights ahead for this offense. That being said, this was sort of a similar situation that we've seen from the Patriots a lot of times in the past. I mean, Tom Brady was here today. It reminded me a lot of Tom Brady's return to Gillette Stadium a couple years ago, an opponent that a lot of people think are going to come in and beat up on the Patriots. Pats end up keeping it close, and then they're not able to pull it out at the end because of some mistakes that they made, kind of similar to what we saw in this game, especially in such a talented, loaded AFC. The Patriots can't really afford these moral victories for that much longer. I mean, they've got the Dolphins next week, then they've got the Jets, then they've got the Cowboys, who, as we're recording this, are beating the hell out of the New York Giants. It's a tough road ahead, and the Patriots need to start turning these moral victories into actual victories very soon.
Perfect way to put it. One thing I would take, though, when Tom Brady was here with the Buccaneers, we saw late in the game they take the ball out of Mac Jones' hands, go for a long field goal to try and win it. This time, a really aggressive Bill Belichick, really aggressive Bill O'Brien on fourth down, going for it, not settling.
Maybe too aggressive.
I would agree with that at points. Yeah. The confidence in Mac is what I like to see.
Absolutely.
I'm being optimistic. Check with me and Zach in a few weeks, and we'll see my tone change for sure if they don't piece together wins. All right, for Zach Cox and George Valecki, that's all from Gillette. Make sure to stay locked in. NESN.com, NESN360, and NESN's YouTube page for full Patriots coverage.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.